The mid-90s was a weird time for video games. The Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis had absolutely nailed 2D graphics. We got games like Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger, with gorgeous pixel art and smooth animations. Everything looked great. But everybody knew the next step was 3D, right? Now PlayStation drops in 1994, and Sony's whole pitch is 3D is the future, we're doing this. Problem is, early 3D looked bad. I mean real bad. You got choppy polygons, textures that warped all over the place, everything was loose and muddy. If you were used to beautiful 2D sprites, these early 3D games were a huge downgrade. That's the way I felt at least. But Sony had this one big advantage: CDs. Nintendo was still doing cartridges for the Nintendo 64, which had like 4 to 8 megabytes max. PlayStation CDs on the other hand, 650 megabytes. That's massive for the time. And that storage space basically gave developers a workaround for how ugly early 3D was. That's where FMVs come in. Full motion videos. Basically pre-recorded video clips, either CGI or live action footage. The idea was simple. Okay, the PS1 can render beautiful 3D in real time. But what if you render it once on a powerful computer, record it as a video, and just play it back? Brilliant. And this completely changed how games looked forever. Horror games in particular. We went from playing games like Clock Tower of the SNES to games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. Let's take Resident Evil for example. You've got live action intro with the helicopter and the team investigating the mansion. Real actors stuff. And during gameplay, all those detailed dimension rooms, those are pre-rendered backgrounds. Basically video screenshots. The PS1 couldn't render a room that detailed in real time. So Capcom rendered them on a powerful computer and you're just walking on a 3D character or video footage. That's why the camera angles are fixed. You're not moving through actual 3D space. You're clicking between different pre-recorded views. FMV wasn't just making horror games prettier though. It created an atmosphere the real-time graphic just couldn't do. Those detailed shadow corridors in Resident Evil? That only worked because of pre-recorded video. Needs mood and detail. And early 3D was too ugly to pull that off on its own. Some developers went even further and made entire games out of FMV. Interactive horror movies were basically clicking through pre-recorded video with different outcomes. One such game was RMG, the Mystery Hospital. Released in 1997 by System Sacom and published by Bandai, RMG is a fully voiced interactive movie horror adventure game that makes you feel like you're playing a movie. It's not untranslated until recently, when a fan patch finally made it playable in English, and now I get the chance to give it a try myself. So how does it hold up nowadays? And can it justify having a full FMV horror experience with little gameplay? That's what we're going to find out in our adventure today. From the get-go, the game throws the cast at you. A silent biker and our protagonist named Hajime, a womanizer skateboarder with a stupid hat called Tomoro, a badass who knows no fear called Ryo, and Aya, the newly recruited nurse. After that we got a summary of events that takes place before the game. Hajime, Tomoro and Ryo were childhood friends who got reunited at STG Hospital after Ryo had a traffic accident. Aya reassures them it's nothing serious though. It all goes downhill from here. Explosions suddenly shake the hospital and they cut on for their lives. The shuttle saves them from the flames, but they are now trapped inside. With no exit in sight, they are now trying to find a way out. But they have no idea that they have stumbled on a dark scheme taking place there. Out of nowhere, a song kicks in, and it literally sounds like Who Wants to Be the Millionaire's Team. Just watch. I love how cheesy it is. Even though this is supposed to be a horror game, it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is something that's really lacking nowadays. That touch of jank made the PS1 horror games something special. Starting a new game, you're given the option to name yourself, then you're thrown into the shoes of our cast. I really like the transition from a cutscene to the game. It goes to show you that this is a full FMV experience. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about movement. As you might expect, it's slow and limited to one step at a time with the direction buttons. I assume they did this to attention to the game, but it works against it when the game wants you to inspect every little thing you come across. Not to mention that every few seconds someone in your party keeps talking and repeating themselves. It's driving me crazy. Aya is the worst one in particular. You move to the reception and we get to use our interaction button. We'll be mostly using this to play through the game, so if you see anything that stands out, get close and press interact. Nothing crazy. We try using the phone, but there is no signal. Looks like we cut off on the outside world. Speaking of the world, on the way you snatch a newspaper article that you can access in your inventory. It explains what's happening outside, and it's not good news. Looks like the world was hit by a plague named Lamia, with 1 million confirmed dead worldwide, and the hospital we're currently trapped in is looking for the cure. Beyond the newspaper stand is an elevator, and this is where you get to use your other ability, Focus. By focusing on the elevator, we found out that it has power and we can use it to search the other floors. Usually, one of your party members will let you know when you can use this, so keep that in mind. I suggest splitting into 2 teams, one that checks the security room and elsewhere. That's when Ryo suggests we use a coin flip to decide who should do what. He and Tomowa end up using the elevator, while Hajime and Aya check out the security room. As we're doing this, a weird computer message shows up. It looks like someone is monitoring our moves, probably the same people who locked us up. Now, I thought you could choose which group you play with, but we're stuck with Hajime and Aya instead. I really wanted to go with Ryo, he's my favorite, even though he looks like a bootleg Duke Nukem. Next to the elevator, there is a shutter that wasn't fully closed, and we decide to check it out. We found the security room, with camera footage and everything. In the first floor, everything seems to be normal, but in the second floor, things are different. You'll see Ryo, Tomowo, and a girl named Misato running from something, and then the entire floor suddenly explodes. They're fucking dead, there is no way they're gonna survive that. Let's go check on them just in case, but before we do that, we take the flashlight in the room and move on. The entire first floor is pretty dark now. Looks like that explosion even took out the emergency lights, and now we only have the flashlight to rely on for our sight. Going back to the elevator, all 3 of them are miraculously alive and unscratched. Video game logic, I know. The girl from before, Misato, who's a patient at this hospital, throws a fit straight away about how 3 dudes haven't found the exit yet. Hey lady, don't question me, talk to the nurse who works here instead. Ryo gives us the director's key, an encyclopedia page about some sort of legend. Where did he even get that? The translation is a little rough, so bear with me here. It talks about a human genius who used to rule the world, with many doubting something like this even existed. Just when I think something is finally happening, this moron Tomowo starts making a fuss about how he's gotten infected with Lamia, just to pull our legs, and he says he's joking. I'm sure this isn't gonna come to bite him in the ass later. Back to the security room, we use the key to open the locket and find some sort of watch inside. Also, what the hell is this music? There is minimalistic, and there is you didn't even try. There below all the budget of the opening cutscene, you have this terrible bitch repeating the entire timer in the first floor, for half an hour now. I don't understand. The game is pretty short, couldn't they have at least tried a little harder? Anyway, we find a manual that lets us use what turned out to be a VR monitor of sorts, that lets you know how much the virus is affecting your health and how close you are to death. A health bar of sorts that keeps ticking for some reason. Tomo's face suddenly burns up and he runs away. I called it, he's infected. Ryo runs after him while Misato refuses to go near him. But Aya tells her that we're pretty much all in contact with the virus by this point, so we might as well help each other out. We check the camera again to find where they are. I search the floor for them for minutes but I can't find them when suddenly my face literally fucking explodes and I get a game over. What the hell just happened? As it turns out, that ticket wasn't for show. The VR monitor shows you how much the virus is in the area, and that translates into ticking. The more you hear, the worse your health is gonna get by the virus. In the end, we'll get a game over. In the surgery room next door, we find a flu capsule and injector of sorts, but we'll need the medicine if we're gonna use it to cure Tomoe. We use the elevator and go to the 3rd floor, and we can see an old dude monitoring us. What's this guy deal anyway? 3rd floor was a dud, so we try the 4th and last floor next, and we find it. But now we have to go back to the surgery room in the 1st floor. I'm not a big fan of going back and forth like this. We could have just taken the injector with us. Aya uses the injector on Tomoe and he gets better. We all use it too just to be safe, except Ryo. Listen, tough guy, playing strong against a virus isn't gonna work out for you. He hands you over an ID card he found earlier, and with Tomoe regaining conscious, we go back to looking for an exit. Still, is it really going to be this simple? I thought finding a cure would be far more difficult than this. So if it's not a monster you're supposed to be running from, or trying to find a cure for the virus, what exactly is the source of horror in this game? We can now use the ID card in the elevator, and you know what it does? It reveals a hidden door behind it. That's pretty cool. I was wondering what else could they give us after exploring the 5th floor. I guess the real level starts now. Another explosion forces us to go in deeper. I swear man, explosions are this game's way of moving the plot forward. An alarm goes off and we get separated from our friends. With no other option, Hajime wears a protective suit he finds inside and pisses forward. And the next part has got to be one of the most annoying things I've had in a video game. Just listen. You're forced to listen to this heavy ass breathing until you remove the suit. Let's just get it over with. After a cleaning process, you find yourself in a lab with a few samples. One called Wraith, and the other is Dagon. I didn't know this game had Lovecraftian links, now I'm invested. We found out more about the Lamia virus, like how it causes red spots, high fever, and convulsions, kinda like what's happening to Tomo right now. So he wasn't cured after all. Wait, there are other viruses aside from the Lamia? This one is capable of changing the skin and even causing death by jellification. And another called Beelzebub that makes your body raptures. That's what happened to us before when we got the game over. The Dagon virus makes red spots from Lamia turn black. By the end, the entire host body turns black and dies. And lastly, the Wraith virus, capable of making a person vomit until they die. That's a terrible way to go. This hospital turned out to be a freaking chemical weapon factory. We did learn that aside from the jelly virus, the rest seem to have confirmed cures. Maybe we can find them here. Hell, we already have 3 different virus samples. We found the testing room, and bad news. Aya is also infected now, with black spots appearing on her. Seems to be the Dagon virus. And we found the cure. That was quick. We have a cure for everything except the unknown jelly virus now. And in the last room, we managed to get data about the virus. Like how fast it mutates the host, and well for the rest, honestly it was too blurry for me to make out. I tried looking online, and it seems this is a common problem for the English translation for the game. I just hope it wasn't anything important. Once we're done with the computer, we finally get a laser key to open the door. Time to go back. And oh my god, this is so disturbing to watch. Don't worry guys, I have the cure with me right here. Let me fix you up. Looking at the symptoms, Aya needs the Dagon medicine, while Tomowo needs the Lamia cure. You can get both of them killed if you pick the wrong choice, so be careful. By the way, I've been hiding something from you. I sort of cheated. You see, when you get the cures, you get 2 capsules each, and you have the option to test them out on these warm things in the lab, which consumes 1 capsule. Since I died on the way back because I ran out of oxygen, I had to restart and said fuck it. I skipped the testing part. So now I have extra medicine with me, just in case we need it. We use the key again to open a door blocked by laser, and it leads to a stairway going underground. Guys, I don't think the exit is this way, and not another second later we get trapped, again. This basement looks pretty old. A paper in the ground reveals that this entire hospital was a plot to find Asmos from the legend. Misato accuses Ryo of being Asmos, and a fight nearly breaks out. But Aya manages to calm things down for now. Honestly, considering how pretty much everyone got infected except these two, they're the most suspicious of the bunch. I hope it's not Ryo. Oh boy, just when I thought things couldn't get worse for the music, it just did. Listen to this. This is all you have us listen to when we're near the end? The sounds of this game so far has been a disaster. It's too bad, since the voice acting is pretty decent. The game throws a jigsaw puzzle at us with a time limit, and once we solve it, the door will open. Ryo urges us to move on, and things get out of hand quickly. I was not expecting what happens next. Turns out Ryo was a spy working for the STG, and the real Ryo was trapped. They used this imposter to take us here. But why? That's what the director is gonna explain to us. It seems he was looking for Asmos for a very long time, due to his incredible DNA that could cure any disease. And the search for Asmos traced back to us, MJ, a human being who possesses an antibody against the virus needed to revive Asmos. So, in order to prove this could work, he injected all of us with the unknown virus that turns everyone into a deformed monster. Except one, who somehow manages to recover, and it's Hajime? What? I thought it would be Misato for sure. Yet despite that, the director uses our DNA to create a panacea and cure Aya. Seems like we're the real deal. In the confusion, a monster manages to get away, and we use that chance to get out. We rescue Aya, who gives us a hug. Looks like she was pretty scared. I mean, anyone would be after suddenly turning into that thing. But now we must rescue the others. We extract a few panaceas from the nearby machine, and shake the room where the imposter Ryo was. Looks like he was using the DNA of a mummy for the experiment. The mummy falls all of a sudden, and one of the monsters shocks Hajime, who then gets rescued by Robert, the director's foreign nightman. The director then explains that he created 2 Ryos as a clone of this mummy that was discovered by his father and carried the viruses we encountered so far. This lines up with what we saw in the opening, where Ryo encountered Robert in the accident. That was probably the moment where the 2 Ryos switched places. It also explains why Ryo didn't care about Lamia that much, since it didn't affect him in the first place, and why he loves using coins so much. A coin has 2 sides after all. The director plans to spread the virus even more and get rid of Panacea, but that's not all. This crazy bastard wants to wipe out all humans except those who carry the ancient DNA, to carry out the legend he's so obsessed with. We get ejected to an even lower floor, and this floor is ancient, with a large temple which this hospital seems to be based on. And an idol of a woman holding a child, and the child is most likely Asmodeus. With no other way around, we press forward. Inside we find two bodies who seems to be infected with the unknown virus that causes jellification. The crazy director is back. Looks like these two are actually the Rio twins, and we have to guess which one is our friend, and which one is Asmodeus to resurrect. You get a game over if you guess wrong. I learned that the hard way. We save our friend, and the director gets shot. Looks like Robert was after the medicine from the start. He does forget about one bottle though. Let's just hope this doesn't come to bite us in the ass later. We decide to leave and find the train inside the cave, probably leading outside. Rio decides to fight with Robert and buy us some time to find and save Tomoe and Misato, and we do just that. After we kill them and go back, the craziest thing happens. It's Asmodeus. The director was still alive, and he used the remaining medicine to revive him. And he kills Tomoe. Not like this. I wanted to save all the gang, but it seems like there is no way to save him. Poor guy. Asmodeus turns blue all of a sudden and kills Robert next. Ryu screams at us to board the train, and we leave in a hurry. A bulldozer seems to crush the monster, but I doubt this will be the last we'll see of him. Ryu is devastated that he couldn't save Tomoe. Aya and Misato are crying, but we gotta pull through and get out of this place. But we're not out of the woods yet. The boulder from before is chasing after us. What the hell, man? This thing probably has Asmodeus inside it. Hajime increases the speed of the train and puts some space between us. After exploring the train a bit, we find the gun of Robert. This will come in handy. And no sooner than I said that, Robert's body is suddenly thrown at the train. It's Asmodeus. He somehow manages to board the train, and Hajime is face to face with him. Time to go guns blazing and send this guy to the grave. Or maybe not. This damn thing can regenerate and runs back at us at supersonic speed. All of a sudden, Misato lights up and evaporates. What the hell, man? Asmodeus is back. Rex Ryu's shit and makes fun of us by making a gunbuster with his hand. It's my last bullet. I don't know what this can do at this point, but what other choice do I have? And of course it does nothing. He makes fun of you again. This dude got a sense of humor for a monster. Wait. Maybe I can use the panacea to return him to how he was before. Back to a jelly. Nope, wrong choice. Or is it? In the next scene, we're at the surface, and we hear Aya and Ryu. Maybe we made it back. We even hear Hajime's voice for the first time. Yeah, no. We literally get reduced to nothing but a spine with a brain and a pair of eyes. We get a bad ending. I shouldn't be laughing, but this is too funny. Asmodeus could have just killed us and be done with it, but he went through the trouble to turn us into vegetables for the rest of our lives. Let's try again. What if we use the unknown virus? Nope. Shit, I'm lost to what to pick. Screw this, let's just pick the influenza and nothing. Wait, his weakness is the flu? You've gotta be kidding me. He started melting until he's nothing but glue in the ground, and Ryu gives you a thumbs up. Yep, we did it. We killed Asmodeus. We reach the surface at last, and we hear Tomoe's and Misato's voice congratulating us. I really wanted to save everyone, but that's not possible. We pretty much got the best ending we could. Although, I managed to find out that Misato manages to survive in the novel version, and she shows up in another game, Countdown Vampires, also made by System Sacom, which makes her surviving pretty much canon, and Tomoe being the only person to die from the group. Overall, the whole experience felt like watching a movie, while the multiple choices, game overs and different endings reminded you that this is still a game at its core. It's a weird combination that possesses a unique charm that makes it stand out from the rest of PS1 horror genre. and even though it has failed to pick up with the mainstream audience, it was popular enough to get its own novel in Japan. At the end of the day, System Sacom did a good job with this game, especially graphic-wise for the time, and they managed to put their library on my radar for future videos. This has been the RMG Reflection, and as always, I'll see you on the next video.